I thought maybe we could start with, what do you think has gone wrong for England on this tour?
Okay, yeah, look, the first thing I think that went, extremely sort of not against them. I think they should have highlighted the importance of the battle between Stuart Broad and David Warner. So I go back to my, Brisbane, analogy where I think, Stuart Broad sort of averages mid-20s. He's taken 12 wickets. And regardless of what conditions you are, whatever, whichever ground you are, if you are bowling well at a particular ground, that you automatically, choose a player, and especially someone like a Stuart Broad's stature, his ability at Sydney, what he did, around the wicket, he got the wicket, and apparently they said that David Warner's got he's never, he scores like heavily, he averages sort of in the 50 plus around the wicket against the seamer. So they thought in Australia that wouldn't be the option. But then is that sort of, I think there's too much of laptop, thinking going on and not enough neck top, right? Like you use your kind of like, think, well, okay, that's what the stats are telling us. But Stuart Broad, David Warner, that is where we're gonna, if he keeps getting him out early, then Broad dismissed him 13 times already, and that would have been a huge moment of every test match. For England to start the test match well, it was all about Stuart Broad getting David Warner out around the wicket, and that was it. That would have been that sort of way of getting an upper hand against Australia. So that is going to be interesting to see once the series is over. What explanations are they going to give about that, especially seeing at Sydney what's happened. So that bit also, I think, choosing the players. I think the Brisbane Test match, when they won the toss, we all knew they should have bowled first. So that obviously was interesting to see why they looked to bat there. And then just picking the team selection. I think they got the team selection right at Sydney, but then Ashes are gone now. It's 3-0. Maybe the clarity of thinking is a lot easier once there isn't that competition, that hype. But how do you respond when, you're a start of a test series? So, will they make, better decisions when it comes, to the games against West Indies and over the summer against New Zealand and South Africa? So I think it'd be interesting to see what kind of teams they select for them test matches.
Brilliant. And just on the final test, after showing some fight in the fourth one, do you think maybe they could take something from the final test?
Well, I think England will be, absolutely, buoyant about the whole display of how they showed the fight, the resilience. It was formidable just to see the likes of, Johnny Bairstow, showing the counter-attacking, I think, nature that he has as a batsman. I hope Johnny Bairstow now thinks that actually that's who I am as a batsman. It's either he's looking to save a test match or if it's tough conditions, that mentality of putting pressure onto the bowlers. It could be in just good positions, on a seaming deck. You don't have to play your shots, but getting into really good position where it shows, right, you bowl a bad ball, I'm going to put that away. That's, I think, Johnny Bairstow's template for Test cricket. And that's what he is. He's always, he's got a lot of character and he puts pressure back on the bowlers. And I hope, he doesn't forget now, that's Johnny Bairstow. And even the character shown by Ben Stokes, he's kind of like injured, and that was really good to see. But let's be honest, there are huge structural and systematic problems within the game of English cricket. But this will be, at least when Chris Silverwood joins the team at Hobart, he will know that it's a slightly different environment. And I would say this is more of a victory for England, especially, after they've been absolutely thrashed, over the last 3 test matches.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looking back at your first Ashes appearance, what was that like, obviously having quite an impact?
Yeah, look, that Ashes was an interesting one. I remember Duncan Fletcher saying, look, I've lost, half of the team over injury, and we're effectively playing a slightly weaker side. So that obviously wasn't good for the preparation. And it was the same, to see the contrast of that was when Australia lost, Glenn McGrath, Shane Warne, and Justin Langer. After that, Ricky Ponting did struggle, to get Australia back to where it needed to be. So that was a difficult series, but also we had to just find a way of competing. And it was, you got the American NBA sort of basketball stars, of the 90s. That what the Australian team was. There was probably up there as one of the best Australian ties or best sporting teams ever, and we were competing against them. So it was always going to be very difficult. But especially when you lose your experienced players, you was up against it all the time.
And how about favorite Ashes memory? It could be a personal one or just one you remember seeing.
Yeah, look, my personal probably it's got to be my with the ball, probably that 5 wickets I took at Perth, and then with the bat was at Cardiff. Personal memories, and then a team one when we all sat together at Sydney, and we were sitting at on the ground at SCG, and just realizing the fact that we beat Australia on Australian soil. It was a real sort of like a real realization moment that as much as we were competing, we've actually beaten Australia in Australia. That was a lovely feeling.